Good morning, dear students. So welcome back to the online teaching class day 4. So in the last session I was discussing regarding nutrition as well as two different type of nutrition. So one will be the autotrophic mode of nutrition and the second will be the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So autotrophic mode of nutrition particularly which will be taking place in the green plants, whereas heterotrophic nutrition will be taking place in many animals, particularly one such example. Particularly they have given in the NCERT textbook, that is one will be amoeba and second will be the human beings. So in the last class completely I have discussed regarding autotrophic mode of nutrition, structure of stomata, what are the main functions of stomata and all we have seen. But in the today's class I am going to discuss regarding heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and particularly in the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, so amoeba is a typical example for the first, and for the second they have mentioned heterotrophic nutrition in the human beings. So let's see one by one. So first one, that is nutrition in amoeba. So first and foremost we need to know clearly that so they have given two different examples. One is amoeba and another one is human beings. So amoeba is the best example for unicellular organism, whereas human beings they are the best example for multicellular organism. Sir, why you are telling that uni is multi? Because those organisms whose body will be made up of only one cell, so all the metabolic activities will be carried out by that single cell itself. Whereas particularly in the multicellular organisms, so their body will be made up of many cells. From many cells it will form tissues together organs. It means every activities will be governed by some specific organs, means specific functions will be carried out by some specific tissues as well as some specific organs. So that is a major difference between unicellular as well as multicellular. So for the first they have mentioned amoeba. So it is the best example for unicellular organism, and when we take the structure of amoeba, so it doesn't have any particular shape, means generally we call it as a shapeless structure for amoeba. So we can draw it somehow. So amoeba it will be having a shapeless structure, but it is of having a true nucleus. But one thing to be remembered that so it is an aquatic organism, means most of the amoeba, means particularly they are going to be found in the water. So movement is an interesting character of the animal. So it is going to be moved from one place to another place with the help of what we call a locomotory structure, that is nothing but the pseudopodia. It is the locomotory structure. What actually this locomotion means what? Locomotion is nothing but movement, moving from one place to another place. So amoeba they are going to move from one place to another place with the help of blunt structures. So what we call pseudopodia. The word pseudo means false, poda means foot. So with the help of a false foot. See here, pseudo means false. The word poda means foot. So these are the false foot. They are the locomotory structures, particularly for the amoebas. So see here. So in this diagram we can easily we can come to know that so this is the animal, what we call it as amoeba. It is of having a true nucleus, and this will be considered as the cytoplasm. In the earlier class you are well known that you are completely know that cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance. It is a somewhat which will be having particularly enzymatic. So this is a nucleus and this will be a cytoplasm. When we consider this as a food material, slowly this food material can be absorbed with the help of these pseudopodia. Means pseudopodia here not only meant for locomotion but also it helps to absorb the food. So next in the B diagram we are going to know that the amoeba with the help of the blunt structures, what I have called pseudopodia, with the help of pseudopodia it is going to take in the food particle. This will be considered as a food material. The same food material will be absorbed by the pseudopodia. In the diagram see, we can easily come to know that. So inside the cell means it is having only one cell. This entire it represents only one cell with the nucleus as well as with the cytoplasm. But inside it will be having a space enclosed by a membrane, what we call it as a vacuole, where food is going to be stored. Means, so whatever the pseudopodia, it absorbs the food, that absorbed food is going to be, means that will be taken place inside the food vacuole. In the food vacuole, complete digestion means breaking down process. Complex food get converted into simple molecules that will be taking place inside the vacuole. So that undigested whatever the food material is there, that undigested food material again it will be sent back towards this wall of food, means particularly the external surface, and again with the help of pseudopodia or else with the help of that wall, again the undigested food is going to be thrown out. So in the simplified manner, so I can tell you that, so amoeba, it is means in amoeba holozoic type of nutrition, particularly in the heterotrophic nutrition. So I have discussed 2 to 3 different types in the earlier class. So parasitic, symbiotic, saprophytic, like that holozoic. So holozoic means what? Whatever the food takes, internal digestion will be taking place. So the nutrition in amoeba will be taking place in 5 different steps. 5 steps. Namely, the first will be the what? Ingestion. The first will be the ingestion. And the second will be the digestion. Second will be the digestion. The third will be the absorption. The fourth will be the assimilation. Assimilation. So last process will be the egestion. Egestion. So we can easily come to know this by knowing these 5 simple steps. So the term ingestion means what? Ingestion means what? The process of obtaining food with the help of, particularly when we take amoeba as an example. So in this the food is going to be absorbed with the help of pseudopodia. So the process of obtaining food is called as ingestion. Next, second process what? Whatever the food absorbed by the pseudopodia, that food will be get converted into, the complex food will be get converted into simpler substances. The process of conversion of complex into simple, so for that process we call it as a digestion. Next, third process what? That is absorption. Means, so this digestion process will be taking place inside the food vacuole. Means at that time, particularly after undergoing digestion, so digested food as well as the undigested, they get separated. Means whatever the digested food is there, that will be completely absorbed by that vacuole. So next, the fourth will be the assimilation. Means whatever the digested food which will be completely absorbed by that vacuole, again that can be utilized, again that can be assimilated by some of the important cell structures like cytoplasm, nucleus, etc., etc. So lastly, whatever the unwanted substance that will be, means that is undigested food, that is a waste, that is a excreta, again that can be sent back towards the wall, and with the help of pseudopodia that will be eliminated out. So egestion means what? It is the process of removal of waste, particularly by the wall. So this process is nothing but egestion. So you guys, you need to completely clearly understand these 5 important steps, particularly in the holozoic, when we take amoeba as a typical example. So those 5 processes are nothing but first will be the ingestion. Ingestion means taking food inside. Digestion means whatever the food we means that amoeba took inside, that will be breaking down into simpler, that is a digestion. Next, after digestion, purer one, impure one, means digested one, undigested one, clear, unclear substance are going to be completely separated. That whatever the digested food is there, that will be absorbed by the means by the vacuoles, and again that absorbed that clear whatever the food will be there, that could be assimilated by some of the cell organelles. Last but not the least, that is unwanted waste is going to be eliminated with the help of the outer surface, particularly in the amoeba. So that process is nothing but digestion. So I think you have clearly understood how come the nutrition process will be taking place in the amoeba. So it is the best example for unicellular organism. So in the now I am going to tell you how come the nutrition process will be taking place in the human beings. So it is quite common and you are very familiar, because we don't know much about other living organisms process activities and all, but we know ourselves how come respiration, how come breathing, how come digestion, how come reproduction, all these processes will be taking place in our body. So see here, so this is a typical structure of what we call it as a digestive system. So generally we call it as a alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. See here. So digestive system. So as if I have already told you that these are the best examples for multicellular organisms. It means they will be having many number of different structures, many number of different specific functions will be taking place. So the human digestive system is consisting of a long alimentary canal starting from mouth and it ends with anus. So usually from mouth to anus. Mouth to anus. So in the structure we are going to clearly see that this is the mouth part and starting from this part and it ends with the anus. So completely we are going to call it as a alimentary canal. So canal means what? That is a passage. So see here. So we are going to see usually digestive system, alimentary canal of human beings, it consisting of so particularly mouth. So generally it consisting of a buccal cavity, and again in the mouth we are going to see 4 different kinds of teeth, tongues, salivary glands. Next to that esophagus we are going to see, and again that esophagus it connects to the bigger organ, the bigger what we call that storage part, what we call it as a stomach. From stomach it connects towards the small intestine, that is the largest part of the digestive tract, and again it connects to the large intestine. Side by side there will be a liver, pancreas, and at the end so there we are going to see a rectum as well as the anus. So those are the end parts. So we are going to now I am going to discuss one by one in details. See here. So the first part what we call it as a mouth. So usually mouth is a region, mouth is a place where we are going to take the food. So as if in the amoeba I have discussed 5 important terms. For the first will be the ingestion, the way of obtaining food inside. So particularly when we take human beings as an example, so we are going to take food from mouth itself. So usually mouth will be the first part. So usually mouth consisting of buccal cavity. So buccal cavity, this is the upper as well as the lower jaw as well as the teeth. Inside we are having a taste, for particularly for a taste bud, usually tongues are there, as salivary glands which releases some jelly like substance what we call saliva. So we can easily know that. So particularly mouth consists of buccal cavity. Inside we are going to see teeth. Sir, what purpose? Teeth means what? Whenever we take the food can be broken down into simpler substance, means it helps to break, particularly the teeth which helps to break the food substances. Next, the tongue is particularly for taste purpose, and whatever the salivary gland which releases saliva, it helps to roll, it helps to chew, it helps to make the food softer. So from particularly with the help of tongue helps for rolling of food, and slowly it makes soft and moves towards the esophagus. So esophagus is the next structure. So in the esophagus one movement will be taking place, that is peristaltic peristatic movement means here there will be a muscles, there will be a contraction and a relaxation process will be taking place, so that with the help of muscles the food can be easily from mouth towards the stomach. So that is esophagus, means that is a bridge between mouth as well as the stomach. So with the help of the esophagus, peristatic movement means contraction and relaxation of muscles will be taking place, so that it will make the food to be easily entered inside the stomach. So stomach is a what? It is a kind of a large, big organ. So particularly it consisting of some juices, and again it will releases what? HCl, generally we call it as a hydrochloric acid, which helps to make the food acidic one. So after means half of the digestion process which will be taking place in the stomach itself, and complete digestion process which will be taking place in the small intestine. So after means with the help of HCl, the medium, it means completely the food it will become a acidic one. So later the food can be transferred towards the small intestine. So small intestine is a largest structure particularly of the digestive system with foldings. So this small intestine again particularly the complete digestion process will be taking place. One thing to be remembered, in the stomach we are going to see one enzyme, what we call it as a pepsin. So particularly enzymes means what? Enzymes, they are nothing but the biocatalyst, means they help to convert, they help for the metabolism, they make complex food into simpler substances. So there will be many enzymes like pepsin, trypsin, renin. So trypsin and renin we are going to see in the small intestine and even in some liver part and all. But pepsin is such an enzyme which we are going to see in the stomach. So next, after digestion, the complete digestion will be taking place in the small intestine with the help of certain enzymes, trypsin, renin and all. So the digested food will be remained in the small intestine, whereas the undigested food, whatever is there, that will be sent back towards the large intestine. So before that, so there are 2 to 3 parts. So a part like liver as well as gallbladder. So they are the one they usually stores the bile juice. So what actually this bile juice? So bile juice particularly helps to break down the fatty acids. Means whenever we have the oily foods and all, oil cannot be easily mixed with the water. It means oil cannot be easily digested. So particularly in such cases, whatever the oil droplets are there, those oil droplets can be easily broken down into simpler substances with the help of the bile juice. And bile juice is such a juice which can be secreted with the help of gallbladder as well as the liver. So pancreas is such a structure which releases some pancreatic juice, and it is also consisting of some digestive enzymes. With the help of enzymes, the food can be broken down into simpler substances. So digested, whatever the food digested, that will be stored in the small intestine, and the undigested food that will be sent back to the large intestine, and from the large intestine again slowly the waste is going to be eliminated. The waste is going to be excreted by an opening, by a channel, by a last end part, what we call it as a anus. So this is how the process, means this is a brief introduction, a brief description regarding the digestive system of the human being. So you can, so whenever in the exam they ask for 5 marks, means just you have to draw the structure and you have to label the parts. Very simple. So starting from mouth, I have already told that particularly the digestive system of human beings, so it generally we call it as a alimentary canal. So alimentary canal, it will be starting from a mouth and it ends with anus. So particularly when we take mouth, so again you have to tell about teeth, tongue, salivary glands. And after that mouth, so there is a connection, that is a mediator, what we call it as a esophagus. Particularly in the esophagus, peristatic movement will be taking place. But with the help of tongue, taste will be taken place, as well as the rolling process will be done. With the help of teeth, cutting and grinding of the food particles. slowly after the peristaltic movement, the food will enter to the stomach. In the stomach, we are going to see some of the digestive enzymes, particularly acidic medium, what we call hydrochloric acid, is going to be generated, and half of the food it get completely, it means because of a pepsin enzyme, the half of the digestion process will be taking place in the stomach, and rest of the other half will be taking place inside the small intestine with the help of other enzymes like trypsin, renin and all. So the waste will be collected in the large intestine and the useful will be collected in the, so usually, small intestine. Again from small intestine, as if I had told, again assimilation means the other whatever the cells are there, again that whatever the means wanted useful food will be utilized by the other cells, and again later as a energy they are going to make use of, but unwanted substance will be released from large intestine. At the end, through anus, the waste is going to be eliminated. So this is the concept nutrition, how come it will be taking place in the human beings. So in the coming session, in the coming class, I am going to start a new topic, what we call it as a respiration. Means in the first half, just we have discussed an important, because we are dealing with the chapter life process. Means there are various types of process will be taking place in the living organism. So one such process I have discussed. So in the first half, that is nutrition, the way of obtaining food. So in the second half, I am going to discuss regarding respiration. So until then, stay tuned.